Well, folks, we knew it was going to happen. Yes, the nerfs have already come for the gold rewards from contracts for unlanded characters. I thought this would come, but not necessarily this quickly. We were talking about this in my live stream yesterday, but yes, only 2 days into the expansion, we have a balance patch and some bug fixing. So that's what we're going to be covering in the video today. As always, hit that like button if you do enjoy the video, but we're just going to get straight into it. So the first thing here is the balance changes. This is the major part of this minor patch. So the first bit here is actually something I encountered quite a bit, and that is that they fixed an issue where you would be told when you replenished your men-at-arms troop as an unlanded character, it was going to cost you like 8,000 provisions, but it actually only cost you like 3,000 provisions. I encountered this quite a bit in my live stream yesterday. I presumed it was a bug, and yes, confirmation here that it was a bug. So they do say here they have done some rebalancing to kind of compensate for this fix, I guess. I'm not 100% sure why stuff needed to be balanced and why it wasn't just a bug fix, but anyway, it is a little bit of a change there as well. The second one is rebalance buffs to adventure men-at-arms from officers and buildings. Pretty much what they've done is just make it more consistent between unit types, so some units aren't getting crazy big buffs and other ones a little bit less. And they do go on to say, and again, we cover this in the live streams I've been doing, adventure armies are like ludicrously powerful. In the first live stream we did on Tuesday, I went up against an army, I think it was like 6,000 and I had less than 2,000, and I was like, oh well, we're gonna lose here. Nope, we absolutely destroyed them. They do say here they will still stay powerful, especially early on, but you shouldn't be able to crush enemy armies into a fine powder with only a few of the upgrades. So yes, the adventure armies are going to get a little bit less powerful, so don't get caught out by that in the next couple of days. If you're used to your armies being crazy powerful, they are going to be a little bit weaker now. It'll be interesting to see exactly how much weaker they are. The next part, yes, the big stuff here. The gold from contracts has been nerfed, so general contracts now give you about 30% less, travel contracts minus 25%, crime contracts about minus 16%. There was one where you're like robbing people in the town, where you could farm like 500 gold relatively easily, and I'm not surprised at all that this got nerfed. They do also say the settle boundary dispute gold has been significantly reduced at roughly 50% reduction due to how much easier it was compared to the other ones, and that is true as well. This is one of the ones where you would just travel there, pretty much just press one button and you get like 100 gold, and then you just come back, oh there's another one, okay I'll do that, get another 100 gold. I'm not surprised at all that these got nerfed. In fact, I kind of expected them to get nerfed by more. I wonder if we will see some further balancing in the future. Well, we definitely will. It'd be interesting to see exactly how much, because it was so easy to just farm gold as an unlanded character. Now, to be honest, you do have to have quite a bit of gold to get like the upgrades to your camp and things like that. But yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to any of us that this got nerfed, so we'll see what difference this makes in your unlanded campaigns. Not too surprising. The next change is provision contract rewards have been decreased by approximately 1 tier, making the provision game a little bit harder. I will agree with this one. In my campaigns, I've not really had to think about provisions. I've been at cap or nearabouts to it without really focusing on it, without even really pressing the button to go foraging or anything like that. So this is a good change, going to make you think a lot more about your provisions. Again, I think in my game I've got like 20 regiments of men-at-arms, and unless I'm traveling like across all of Europe, I don't even think about provisions. I know I'm going to have enough. A pretty good change here. I don't think it's too crazy, but make you think about that system a little bit more. The next one is free provisions from the visit settlement decision have been nerfed. So in this one, half the amount you would gain from trying to charm the salesman and half the amount you would gain from trying to steal provisions. Pretty much similar to the previous one, just making provisions a little bit more interesting to interact with. The next one is the refund from aborting the rites of passage will now match the initial cost. Changing your mind should not conjure up gold and prestige from thin air. Now, I didn't know about this, but I guess you could kind of cheat this to get gold and prestige out of nowhere. Now, linked to this, and not actually called out in the bug fixes either, but we'll talk about it now as it's kind of linked to this, is the interaction to get a marriage from one of your patrons. Currently, if you're not aware, if you click the button, it actually takes the prestige off you. But then if you don't find a match with that patron, you just lose your prestige. You don't really know if he's going to have anyone that he'll like to marry to your people, so that really does need to be fixed, because it could cost you a bunch of prestige, especially if you don't know that bug exists. Well, I presume it's a bug anyway. If you don't realize that interaction happens, you can lose a bunch of prestige and get literally nothing out of it. So that is one thing I do hope they fix. I'm sure it's been reported elsewhere, but yeah, I just wanted to call that out. So if you do go in to try marry someone through your patron, be very careful. If they don't like you a lot, you're pretty much going to lose your prestige and get absolutely nothing back from it. The next one is Nerf the Reinstated of the Theodosian borders. The modifier here was gained when you took the decision to re-establish said borders. The renown gain has been removed. It was frankly quite insane to give everyone in your dynasty a 10% boost. I will say, I guess this DLC like wasn't tested enough in beta. Like, I know it's hard to catch everything because you've not got like, you know, tens of thousands of players playing it, and then those people will kind of, you know, give their feedback of it. But the gold from contracts and something like this is something that I really would have thought would have got caught before this came out. But anyway, a 10% boost to everyone in your dynasty is crazy, especially by the time you take that decision. You've probably got a pretty big dynasty, and it would just go insane. So yeah, that is crazy. You'll now just get a flat amount of renown based on when you take the decision. Significantly reduce the amount of AIs willing to leave their realm to become adventurers. So this will cut down the amount of adventurers on the map, I presume, and just makes a little bit of sense. I think too many were just packing up and leaving their realms and kind of leaving some chaos behind them. So that is the end of the balancing. I don't think any of these are too surprising. I kind of thought we'd get this next week, but it's good that they've come in already after 2 days and made some of these changes. The next part of this is the bug fixes. Nothing too crazy here, although the first one is really funny. Fixed an issue where loading an old save before 1.13 would cause armies to number in the billions. I kind of wish I could do that actually and take a look and see what that's like. I can imagine loading in and not realizing, and then just this massive horde of armies just piling over everything. Although I suppose it would bankrupt the realm in like 5 seconds. So anyway, if you have encountered that, do let me know in the comments down below. That is a pretty funny bug-free patch to cause. And then outside of that, just a bunch of little fixes here. Nothing too crazy here. You can no longer recruit a hooded figure indefinitely from the tavern. I am sad for that one if you haven't done that event. It is when you visit a settlement, you go into the tavern, and then there's always a hooded figure there, and they're always ridiculously good at intrigue. I think we had one yesterday on the live stream that was like 35, and she was 19 or something. It is quite expensive. I think it was like 100 gold, but that isn't too bad as a landless character. And you could just farm these really high intrigue characters for your camp. So yeah, not too surprising. I kind of thought that one would be under balance fixing, but I guess it was a bug, that's why. And then, like I say, nothing else too crazy here, but you can see them all on the screen. And as always, I will leave a link to this post in the description down below. And then the last one is just interface. The decision menu will now close itself when taking certain decisions, so your UI doesn't get as cluttered. And then relationship reason icons will now be visible for other characters again in the relationship tab, so you can see why two friends were friends. That is actually pretty cool. That was added, I think, with Friends and Foes, where you can hover over it and it will say these two characters became friends at this feast or something like that. So you get a bit of like backstory or lore, I guess, for characters on the map. And with that, that is the end of the first hotfix for Roads to Power. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As I've said all the way through, I'm not too surprised with the gold contracts. I think they might even get nerfed a little bit more in the future. We'll see, obviously, once people get their hands on this and are able to play. Well, I say that, this has actually already been released, so do let me know how it's changed your campaigns. And outside of that, there are a few bugs here or there that I've encountered, so hopefully we'll get them cleaned up in a future patch. The other thing I'm really looking for, if any of you have done the Harewold the Wake landless character, there is a system in there called the Harrying of the North. And one thing I really want them to add is somewhere in the UI where you can actually see if that event is active and at what level it's at, because I couldn't find it at all. And it's really hard to know, well, one, what level it's at, and two, if it's still active. We were playing again on the live stream and we died as the main character, but then on our son, it was like impossible to know if the event had finished or not, and you can never really tell if the Harrying of the North is still active. And in the end, I just gave up and went somewhere else because it looked like it had ended. So it would be really cool if they added the option so you could see the Harrying of the North, even if it was just like a little icon on the King of England or something like that, and you could see the progress of it. If you can see it anywhere and I just missed it, do let me know in the comments. But anyway, with all that being said, we'll leave the video there for today. I just wanted to call out the hotfix and what was in there, so do hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. I cover a lot of Crusader Kings on the channel, and as I've said all the way through this video, I do live streams every week where we go through campaigns, do achievement runs, all that good stuff. And I also cover other historical strategy games on the channel as well. But we'll leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one.